And even though it took a couple of extra months, I am so happy with the results that it was absolutely worth the wait. Hey guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back. Today I'm here with an Hermes haul for you guys, and I have done quite a few unboxings and haul videos in the past, but I don't think I've ever been this excited to share with you everything that I picked up, because the first piece that we'll talk about is something that I've been hearing rumors about it getting relaunched for years at this point, and I was convinced that this is going to be something that drops in 2019, but there was nothing. It was crickets all year. And then the other piece is something that I had to order, I want to say at the end of October, beginning of November, and it has just arrived. So I've been waiting for it for quite a few months. And then there is also a little extra surprise to share with you. So if you want to see and unbox everything new that I picked up from Hermes, then please keep on watching. Let's start with this piece, which, as I mentioned, is something that I've been hearing rumors about it getting relaunched for years at this point. And I genuinely thought that this is going to drop back in 2019 because there was another piece launching for spring summer that featured the same design, and I thought and hoped that this would launch alongside with it, but it didn't. And I haven't heard anything about it for years at this point. Until last week, just out of the blue, this popped up. I believe it was on the French website where I came across this. So as soon as I saw it, I immediately jumped over to my local site and they also had it in stock. And I'm not sure if this has happened to anyone else, but my adrenaline started pumping and I basically blacked out. As soon as I saw that this was in stock, I just automatically put it in my cart and tried to check out as fast as I could. And in the end, I managed, but with Hermes, their website is so finicky that you can never be assured that the product you ordered will actually ship to you until it actually gets shipped. So I didn't even worry about checking if I get a confirmation email. I was just hoping that within a couple of days, I'll get an email saying that it was shipped. And I did get that email. And it wasn't until then that I actually checked the price of this because I really didn't think that this would be that expensive. But when I opened the invoice in the confirmation email, I was shocked to find that this piece was over €1,000. So I'm really hoping that it was worth the money because I have not actually had a chance to open this. I did show you guys the packaging on Instagram because this is the first time that I've received the new 2021 ribbon. It obviously says Hermes, but also alongside the Hermes logo and the Hermes Ex Libris. It also has Irresistible spelled out on it. I said on Instagram that Irresistible could be the best new excuse for us to justify any crazy purchases at Hermes. If someone asks why you spent so much money on it, you can just say it was Irresistible and I couldn't leave it there. So I thought it was a really cute touch, and in case you didn't know this, Hermes does change up their ribbons each year, and they try to use play on words or different characters and cartoons on the ribbon to kind of fit the overall aesthetic and theme of the year. So I thought that was a really cute touch. But obviously the piece itself came in the orange box and I have not had a chance to open this. So we're going to do this for the first time with you guys. So let's go ahead and open this. So I'll remove this beautiful new ribbon that it came with. And then obviously it came in the small orange box. And if I take this off, I'm sure you will guys know immediately what's in here. Oh, okay, we have a little card. And then underneath the card, we have this velvet pouch, which let me take this out. And this is what the velvet pouch looks like. It just has Hermes blind embossed in there. And let me show you guys this piece. I'm actually really excited to see this myself because I have not actually had a chance, as I mentioned, to open this and try this on. So one of the newest pieces that I picked up from Hermes is the Picnic Medor bracelet, which is essentially the Picnic take on the iconic CDC bracelet, but this is the cuff version, which is a piece that was around a long time ago. This is not a brand new design from Hermes, this is a relaunch. But when they relaunched the Picnic Kelly in the mini size back, I think it was in 2019 for spring summer, I started hearing whisperings that the bracelet will also come alongside with them, but it didn't. At least I didn't see any of them. And it wasn't until last week that I finally was able to find this on the Hermes website. So they had this bracelet available as well as a pair of earrings, which honestly I put up a picture of them here. They were not, I don't think they were as nice and as aesthetically appealing as the bracelets themselves. But in case you have not seen these before, they are essentially the CDC bracelet without the CDC closure. That's why they're called the Medor bracelet, because the emphasis, instead of being on the CDC mechanism, the closing mechanism, it is on the 4 pyramids that you can see here, and then also the ring. So let me remove this protector so you guys can see it in all of its beauty. So this is what the bracelet looks like without the protector. We have the iconic CDC ring in the middle, and then 4 Medor pyramids around the edges. And then on the side, it's obviously made of this incredible wicker material, which I think makes this quite a beautiful statement piece for the summer. And the color I ended up going for is fauve in Varangia leather, which is one of the Hermes heritage leathers, and it's not one that I would usually go for in a bag or in an accessory. But the reason I opted for this is because this was the most neutral out of the bunch. The 2 other colorways that I saw this in were, there was one in yellow with palladium metal finish, and then there was one in Nata, which is a beautiful off-white color, in the same version as this, which is with gold. But I felt that Nata would have been a little bit too delicate to use on a bracelet. I felt that it could have gotten a little bit too dirty too fast, so I ended up opting for the most neutral option, especially because I recently got a gold mini Kelly, and I don't really have any accessories to go alongside with it, not because you want to do matchy necessarily, but I thought it would be nice to have something that was in a similar color palette, so I ended up opting for this. But let's have a closer look because I haven't actually had a chance to look at it myself. And my very first impression when I pulled this out of the box was the smell. That was the first thing that I noticed. It had quite a strong leather smell to it. And it's not that kind of leather smell that you would get when you buy an Hermes bag. It's honestly quite a cheap leather smell. It's kind of one of those leather smells that if you ever buy a bag that is really inexpensive and its main selling point is that it's made of genuine leather, and that's what they have written all over the box or the whatever comes with the bag. You know that really strong, overpowering, cheap leather smell that those bags have? That's exactly what this smells like. It doesn't smell great, which, I mean, honestly, let that not be our biggest issue, but it's something that I wanted to point out, that you're not going to get that divine leather smell that you're usually used to from Hermes bags. And then it does feel quite flimsy, but anyway, I don't want to be too picky, but that's just my first impression. And then the bracelet I ended up picking up in T3. So let's see how the size works for me. So this is what the bracelet looks like, which it is quite a statement piece. It's not one of those understated pieces, but I think it would be a nice accessory to have for the summer. One thing that I can immediately tell is that it is a little bit too large, so I would definitely not size up or size down. I would go for your regular size in the CDC bracelets. I'm honestly a little bit underwhelmed, as you can probably tell. I don't want to say that it looks cheap, but it doesn't feel as well constructed as what we're used to from Hermes, I have to admit. It kind of feels a little bit flimsy, which, now that I think about it, shouldn't be a huge surprise, because I think that was the main criticism that the relaunched Mini Kelly received, is that it wasn't as well put together as some other Hermes bags, especially for the price. So I'll definitely play around with this and see how it works out, but so far I can tell you that I'm pretty underwhelmed for the price especially. But I know the next piece will make up for it. But before we even get into that, I wanted to share this with you guys, which came as a little gift alongside my next purchase, which is one of these little origami kits that Hermes gives out as a gift from time to time. It's essentially a piece of leather, a leather string, and then some instructions, which if you follow those, you should be able to turn this simple piece of leather into one of these back charms on the back, which is in the design called La Selle, which I believe means saddle in French. And I've never actually seen this design before, but I have received a similar kit in the past. but it was in the design called Tête de Cheval, which I believe means horse head in French, and I don't even think that I ever put that one together. But I thought it was just such a cute and thoughtful gift for Hermes to send. So if you'd want me to put this together on camera and share with you guys how difficult it truly is to create a bag charm, then let me know in the comment section. And I can even do a video on this, or maybe just put it in an upcoming video and share with you guys the experience of putting it together. But I wanted to share this because I thought it was just a really kind gift from Hermes. But let's go ahead and open the next piece, which, full transparency, I have been playing around with for the past week because it's a piece that I had to order back. I want to say it was in October or the beginning of November that I ordered this. I ordered this the week of my Christmas wishlist video going live, which, in case you haven't seen that, make sure to have it linked up here. And in that video, I mentioned that one of the only Hermes métiers or category of products that I never bought into was Hermes's lighting pieces, quite frankly because they are ridiculously expensive. But there was one piece in particular that I was always obsessed with, called the harness piece, which is an absolutely breathtaking piece, and I was going back and forth whether I should buy it now or if I should wait. But what ultimately stopped me at the end is the fact that we moved about 6 months ago temporarily, and we're not sure when we'll be back in New York, if we'll be back in New York, and if we move back, the last thing I want to be doing is moving with a ginormous, fragile piece. But at the same time, I still want to enjoy my passion, so I ended up opting for a piece along the same lines, which I hoped would be a little bit smaller and easier to move with. But to my surprise, I think it's just as heavy and just as large as the harness lamp would have been. So in hindsight, it would have really not mattered which one I go for, but I honestly don't regret this purchase because I've been playing around with this for the past week and I have been so impressed. It's just such a beautiful piece. And I wanted to share with you guys the experience of the box that it came in because it was, I have to say, quite the experience. Saint Louis is a brand owned by Hermes, and depending on where you shop, some stores have Saint Louis much more integrated into the world of Hermes than others. So for example, if you shop in the US at a store like the Miami store in the Design District, they have a dedicated section to Saint Louis. If you shop in the Madison Avenue boutique in New York, they have Saint Louis spread out across their home sections. So if you look at their dinnerware or if you look at their furniture pieces, they'll quite often have Saint Louis pieces styled with them. But in Europe, I've been finding that Saint Louis is much more of a brand on its own and it's not really presented in Hermes stores, which was quite surprising to me. But I did order and pick up this piece through Hermes. So I ordered this back basically at the end of last year. I can't remember if it was October or November. And I couldn't actually go and see this in person. It arrived just last week and I got sent a couple of pictures when this arrived. I basically paid for it and then it ended up getting sent to me because the store is still technically closed. And I had to open it up because this box, as you can see, is absolutely gigantic. I was expecting this piece to come in a tiny little box and it'd be this little subtle, humble little piece. But when this arrived, just feeling how heavy it is, I was like, I need to open this up and I just couldn't wait. But I wanted to make sure that I share the experience with you because it was quite the experience. So it came in this gigantic box. And if I remove the top, on the inside you will see that it came beautifully wrapped up with the Hermes ribbon because I did pick it up from Hermes. It came with the Hermes ribbon in the Hermes orange box. And then on the top, it came with two of these little gloves, which I was completely shocked by that they would send gloves alongside with this purchase. Obviously, when you buy an exotic piece or if you buy fine jewelry, people working at Hermes usually put on gloves just out of respect, but I've never received an actual pair of gloves with the piece that I purchased, so I was really surprised by that. And then it also came with this little guide. It says technical data on the piece itself, which I have not opened. Should I open? I'm not going to. I'm sure it's all boring stuff in there, but it all has the Saint Louis stamp and the Saint Louis branding on it. So as I mentioned, I've already been using and enjoying the product, and I didn't want to stuff it back in the box because it's honestly so heavy and so fragile that I was afraid I would not be able to maneuver the piece around here. But I still wanted to show the packaging because I think it's part of the experience. So it came with this huge foam piece on top, and if you remove that, this is what the box looks like. You had this huge piece in here which housed the case, or the, I guess you would call it the lampshade, but it's not an actual shade, up here on top, and then you had the cord in here. And the piece that came housed in that gigantic box is this ridiculously heavy Folia table lamp, which is one of the most beautiful pieces I have ever purchased from Hermes. I don't even know if you guys will be able to tell how incredibly stunning the pattern of the etching is, but I'll make sure to put in a couple of clips of what it looks like lit up in the dark. It's honestly just breathtaking, and it's so heavy that I can barely hold it up here, so I'll put it down before I drop it. This is a piece that, as I mentioned, I was considering for a little while, and I was going back and forth between a couple of different designs. So I love the harness piece by Hermes, which I ended up not going for because I felt that it would have been a little bit too much to move with whenever we move again. And the last thing I need is to have more fragile pieces to move with, because when we were moving here, I had to put so much of my stuff in storage, so it would have been counterintuitive to buy more pieces that will be difficult to move with. Now in hindsight, I know that this is going to be just as difficult to move around as any other piece would have been, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. But anyway, this is the so-called table lamp from the Folia range by Saint Louis. And Folia refers to the etching and the pattern of the crystal. And Folia has to be one of my favorite creations by Saint Louis. That range, I feel, is the most contemporary range that Saint Louis creates. And they do have quite a few different variations of light in this particular range. They have the table lamp, they have taller standing lamps, and they even have this really cute lantern, which I did consider for a while, but so many of my friends have that. It got really popular a couple of years ago that I felt that it would have been more special to buy a piece that I've never seen before, obviously not knowing that I will have to get it blindly. But in the end, it all worked out well. Now, the reason why I was told it took a little bit longer for this piece to arrive is because I had more, I don't know if you would call it a custom request, but I basically asked the light to come with a darker wood in more of a matte finish, because the one that you can buy from Saint Louis usually either comes in a lighter wood or one with a more shiny and more polished finish. And even though it took a couple of extra months, I am so happy with the results that it was absolutely worth the wait. I have been looking into buying different lighting pieces from different brands, including Hermes and brands like Baccarat, but I think Saint Louis crystal cannot be matched. The quality, the weight, the construction, the way light shines through it is just absolutely unmatched. So if you've been looking into adding a touch of luxury to your home, I think the Saint Louis Folia pieces are just absolutely breathtaking, especially because they are more of a contemporary take on crystal making. I think they would match any home style, and I am so incredibly happy with this piece. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear what you think about these pieces, the bracelet, the light, as well as the little back charm. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!